Welcome back to the broadcast. Dr. David Nyekorach Sanga, the Chair Pan-African Forum, is with us this morning. We also have the Member of Parliament candidate for Kigumo constituency with us this morning. That is Zach Kinuthia. Unfortunately, Dr. Barak won't be able to join us. A bit of a technical hitch, but he sends his greetings to the gentleman, and I'm sure he'll be watching and as well contributing, in the various forms of technology that are available. Gentlemen, thank you so much for creating time. I think we go straight to the conversation that hugely is informed by what the papers detail this morning, as well as some of the stories that I have picked. We briefly take a look at the state of the nation, and in the state of the nation, we look at the politics of intolerance. What was witnessed in Jacaranda grounds yesterday is something that hugely needs to be condemned, and so we decipher on that. But the most unfortunate thing is the kind of utterances that we see these leaders, the ones that they are echoing out there, that is in, trying to condemn these acts of violence and intolerance as well. We take a look at the degree saga that continues on. That is for Sakaja. In as much as he's been cleared, questions continue to linger as to whether indeed it will be all the way to the ballot. And so we're looking at that and what it is that IEBC speaks of in terms of their capability to investigate and, have mechanisms of either deciding to lock or not to lock these people out of the ballot. Also, we take a look at the politics of the pulpit. President Uhuru Kenyatta, attending these celebrations of the Akorino at 100 alongside Right Honorable Raila Odinga. We take a look at those ones that have come out to endorse and give blessings to, Deputy President William Ruto and his deputy, that is Rigathi Gachagua. At the level of the pulpit, even the pastors, you will see them in yellow regalia, just trying to say that they represent a certain party, or you never know. As well as the 6-tire call and so much more. So make sure that you keep it right here. The lines are open. The hashtag once again is Morning Cafe at Linda_Lela TV47 KE. Let's get to it first by also looking at what the newspapers detail this morning. The Standard newspaper, the People Daily, as well as the Daily Nation. Front page of the Standard newspaper, why President Uhuru Kenyatta is staying away from campaigns. And as President Kenyatta takes a firm stand on his politics, well, recent public engagements show he is holding a backstage or a back from campaigns and endorsements, like yesterday when he met the Akorino, whose platform he previously used to attack his deputy. A story that has been captured on the front page, expounded on page 8 of the Standard newspaper. I think it has been categorical that President Uhuru Kenyatta is not going to go out there. And after all, people have called upon him as president to take a backseat on this talk of campaigning for Right Honorable Raila Odinga. Why is it then that the questions, arise as to his position at this very moment? Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much, viewers. First of all, I would like to say the president is the president of the Republic of Kenya, is the president of everybody, all people, tourists, visitors who are in Kenya at that time. He remains the president and the head of state. Therefore, his decision not to appear publicly in public rallies is a good decision of statesmanship.
How much of a difference is that, Dr. Masanga, when he endorses a certain candidate and then all of a sudden...
Everybody, even God has a choice.
Okay.
Yes, God has a choice. That's why we have Satan and God, isn't it? And both of them have choice. If God did not have a choice, all of us would be doing things badly. That's why we are fearful that if you do this, God will call you. Or God does not like this. Choices are everywhere. Every human being has a choice. Even if you are the president, you have a choice. Even the Queen in England has a choice of which prime minister. I said, well, if I were to be publicly voting, I would not vote X. Everybody is a democracy. The Socrates, Fiore, the Plato Republic, the Aristotle, those are the choices. You have your own choice, freedom of association, assembly, organization, and choice is the most important key element in the political science. Choice.
There are instances, Dr. Masanga, and I know you have seen this happening, where a sitting president has been forced to probably go to, the president who's out, or the previous or their predecessor, to ask for advice.
Yes.
There are instances where, you know, countries have almost gone down, and the advice and guidance of these presidents, you know, has been needed at some point in time. What happens in a scenario where a president outrightly endorses this one, and then they exit the stage, and the person they endorsed does not get the chance to find themselves into power? What happens in such a scenario? How do they relate with that will have taken the power?
Democracy grows. I mean, you don't need down to come to be vindictive, like what I had the Honorable Member of Parliament of Garissa saying. This word is called revisit. We shall revisit. Revisit where? Don't talk of revisiting. Talk of making sure that the criminal justice system does exactly what they are supposed to do.
You know, I'll come back and counter you on that.
Criminal justice system. One of Zach is here today. We shall look at what is a criminal justice system. Is it the police, prison, probation? If you go to the police station today, the people who are given bail, ask them. Some of them have signed already. That's the probation work. The judge shouldn't be saying, postpone the case because there are no probation reports. The social worker, do you have your place where you live? There is a social worker. But there are people in the Ministry of Social Services who are earning money. If you go to, at the end of the month, you'll find that there are 47 social workers for each county. But have you seen anyone coming near your house?
No.
Any probation officer who is coming, you only see probation officer in murder cases, one person appearing. They are supposed to be daily to supervise the bail conditions that the judges have given to people. There are people who have signed through the criminal justice system, because it all boils up to the presidency. If the criminal justice system is wrong, the presidency cannot operate. The parliament, the Speaker of Parliament gets mad and becomes political.
Would it not be double speak, Dr.
Kenya,
Masanga?
look at it.
Dr. Masanga, Dr. Masanga, and I think I'll loop in Zach on this because Zach sat in, say, the Jubilee family after the 2017 general election, as well as Dr. Masanga was a friend of the Jubilee party then. And then after the nullification of the presidential election, the word revisit then surfaced. And at this very point, revisit did not turn out to be bad. Dwale himself was sitting in this very party, and therefore revisit made so much sense to them. Why is it then that at this very point, when he argues there's a problem, there's something amiss, and because we don't have the capability to address it right now, that we might need to revisit this, we might need to address this in the event that we cling on to power? And therefore, it is doublespeak then to argue that these words are not healthy. This should not be used at this very moment, knowing very well that at some point, it was a song that was being sung by the team of Jubilee and their friends.
Thank you, Linda, and a very good morning to Dr. Masanga and yourself, and a host of Battalion watching us from the comfort of their houses, and those watching us from the internet, as well as those watching from their phones. By the way, the last time I met the chairman of this establishment,
Oh yeah?
I asked him to ensure that this TV is put in Zuku.
Oh, nice.
Because it is not...
But Zuku is, I mean, it's just the other day that we were talking about the conversation of Zuku. Wait a minute, I need to give you updates on that.
Because I use Zuku in my house and I have not been able to see TV.
The adjustments were well, in line, so to speak.
As we proceed, you can confirm. Because my beautiful wife would be watching me this morning. But it's not there.
Can you just set some internet there and let them watch you online?
I agree, definitely agree. But I may be able to do that. But other people who are not able to do so and who want to see TV 47 may have that interest. Having said that, let me say that different words evoke different feelings and different memories in different people. And as Dr. is saying, the word revisit may have been right 1 year ago, but it is not a guarantee that it will be right tomorrow. So when the president himself said that out of what judiciary had turned then, he would revisit, you would agree that the overwhelming majority of the people who installed the Jubilee president agreed with him, and there were many, in millions, and did not complain that the word was bad, because all of them had elected him to speak for them. And when he spoke of revisiting, then he was speaking for them. Only very few would disagree with us. And you can see later on, what he said was a form of judicial thuggery had manifested itself in certain way. So different words evoke different memories. When Duale opens his mouth to speak about revisiting the judicial criminal system, he has no idea what he's talking about. I think he's only trying to please the renegades whom he sadly joined. And we will be watching. In Africa, it is a taboo to talk about a child unborn and plan about them. He's already talking about what they are going to do before they even get the power, and what they are going to do is vengeful. God does not allow vengeful spirits to reign. It is important for them to understand that if he continues saying we will do X, they better say we are going to improve economy. That's allowed. We are going to improve education. That's allowed. We are going to put money in the pocket of the people. That's okay. But if I say Linda is going to know who I am after I become a winner, you know, there is a God also who determines affairs of men. By the way, it is good that last time I was here, not Monday, so some time back, we discussed about whether presidents in America endorses the candidates they want.
Yeah.
And one of my colleagues said they don't. Later, I verified and realized that perhaps they had not read widely or watched widely and understood issues in the international arena. All the presidents in the world
have endorsed.
Yes, and all the prime ministers in the world, including the kings and queens of monarchies, have a choice on their preferred candidates. And by the way, the monarchy, for monarchy it is worse, because what they prefer is what becomes. Unlike for democracy. For democracy, what is preferred necessarily is not what becomes. The president of America, one of the most forthright black American presidents in the history of the world, called Barack Obama, had a choice on the lady Clinton.
Yeah.
But the lady Clinton did not become, because the Democratic Party was trounced by the democracy of the American people and confirmed by the echelon anti-democracy called the college, the electoral college. It is good that people should not vilify President Kenyatta for preferring Raila Amolo Odinga. As a man born of a woman, our mother Mama Ngina, he has an absolute right protected by the law, guaranteed by the, guaranteed by basic justice system, basic of men, that I can say, I want Linda. I mean, even women, men can choose the women they want to marry. Okay, and women also can choose the men who will not marry them. These are rights that are guaranteed naturally. They are called innate rights. These rights the president reserve. And when the president say that he is going to support Raila Amolo Odinga, he has also same rights to proceed and say, my support will be ground trooping.
Okay.
I will go with him to Kisumu. I will go with him to Murang'a. I'll go with him to Mombasa. I'll go with him to Mandera.
And I will ask the people region at some point. And
this is
asked.
it.
I mean, people, and there's one of the legislators of who aligns to Kenya Kwanza, who argues that this silence conversation is just like a trick. It's more of the political games that we see around. But in real sense, deep down, he supports Kenya.
No. The man is naive. The man is naive, and he will have his contribution. The man is naive, speaking so, because President Kenyatta and his support is evident. If you look at what the Kenya Kwanza allied legislators and aspirants, now they are candidates, are speaking about. Yesterday's paper, you could read one of the governor candidates in Mount Kenya region was asking a rhetorical question that is provocative. Yeah. Could President Kenyatta be campaigning for Ruto?
Exactly.
You saw that question.
I saw that. That's exactly what I'm referring to. In fact, I'm trying to get the exact
It was there. That's what he was trying to argue. Number two, you will realize that these people are now trying to blackmail the feelings of the ODM presidential brigade and his people, to see that the president is not genuinely supporting him. Why? Because they're creating a wedge. This wedge must be created because they imagine that without President Kenyatta, it will be very easy for them to defeat Raila Odinga. But President Kenyatta committed himself. By the way, support is not necessarily the mouth. Ask the happiest women in the family. Their husband do not write everywhere. I love my wife. They do not go shouting on roads. My wife, no.
Yeah.
But they are sufficiently catered for as family women and the children. So the president has the right to decide whether to go and campaign for Raila. But most importantly, it is not what and where he goes. It is about the genuine support he rendered to the president. Like yesterday, you see what he did yesterday. A constituency of voters in this country appealing on a Corino spirit, the president accompanying the man he intended to support, is tantamount to Obama going to the Democratic endorsement crusade and saying in Florida, my candidate who has the presidential temperament to succeed me is Hillary Clinton. I mean, what can you do for a man more?
Well, interesting. We can take his word for that. It is Irungu Kangata that argues if President Uhuru Kenyatta is supposedly using reverse psychology to win Ruto's votes by supporting Baba, given that he's political science or he's a political science graduate. Says one day I asked Ruto if he thinks Uhuru subtly supports him. He didn't answer. He just smiled. Zach, before we expound further that debate for purposes of clarity, I don't know why my boss did not tell you that we have Zuku there.
What channel?
Channel 69.
Channel 69, okay. Yes. I'll check, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, I'll check.
Thank you for that. So here we are. And Dr. Masanga, true to it, we'd love to probably expound this further and hit on President Uhuru Kenyatta, but I don't think this is pretty much important. We speak of the Akorino meeting that was there. We speak of the Catholic bishops, you know, and the release that they present to the people. They remind the voters the importance of maintaining that peace. They condemn Wajakoya at some point in time. But we also have a religious leader that once endorsed President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy, as well proceeding to endorse Deputy President William Ruto and his deputy, that is Rigathi Gachagua, clad in yellow. I don't know whether you've seen this.
Yes, I saw.
Yeah. So politics getting into the pulpit?
First of all, let me make it very clear that President Uhuru Kenyatta is the first president on the continent of Africa to set a political theory. And any scholar out there who is interested in research like me, I'm very good at making sure that I note down my things. The handshake is doing rounds across the continent of Africa. I'm working on a handshake on Zimbabwe. It is slowly, as they go towards election, Zimbabweans are turning out to say, why have we divided our nation? Yet the person oppressing us is one. Sanctions coming from America. We better unite. Handshake is going everywhere. Tanzania. I'm a great friend of Madam and other people across there, only that I don't misuse my friendship. Look at all the political opponents of Tanzanian president are back. Even the one who was shot, who was limping, you interviewed with us when Magufuli died.
Yes.
He was making very bad statements. And later on I called him, no, don't do that. When a person has died in Africa, you don't do that. Whether you're an enemy, you just come and mourn and go home. He's back in Tanzania and his money was compensated.
Right.
Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta said that president, which is very good.
But Dr. Masanga,
some of us, we have taken it further. We want to use it, the Kenyatta theory of handshake.
You know, I'm an ardent follower of your programs, Dr. Masanga. While you tell Tundu Lissu not to castigate the reign of Magufuli, but you also, at the point where we lost Kofi Annan, were very categorical that it is fine in his own style, he did this and that, but you would not subscribe to anything that he did.
Yes,
so why would you?
My type of dialogue is different from that of Kofi Annan. I don't put money in front. Like mine is different from Obasanjo. I don't put money in front.
And therefore it's proper for you to highlight.
Frankly speaking, you have touched that subject. It's hot. Where Obasanjo goes, you know there is bloodshed. Where Kofi Annan goes, there is always. That is the truth. And you can check the records.
And that you stated categorically, Dr. Masanga, that you stated. So why is it that it's bad for Tundu to state his disappointments or his essence of disappointment?
Over what? A dead man? Have you ever seen me condemn anybody who has died, even those who have killed my father? I shook their hands.
Okay, we shelve that for a moment.
Did I go to Uganda in 2008 and I shake my hands with President Museveni?
You did.
You saw the picture.
So are we going to feel the handshake at this level, Museveni and Bobi Wine?
That is the end. Who? With who?
Museveni and Bobi Wine, because he said the spirit of the handshake is going across.
Who is Bobi Wine?
I thought you spoke about the handshake and the spirit making rounds.
Bobi Wine, while I was fighting for the parties to return, Bobi Wine was playing guitar in praise of Museveni.
Okay.
Besigye was his doctor.
Okay.
So they laid the bed which is tackling them. Why do you want me to be involved? I did my job. There was a very bad war in that country. I silenced the war with my mouth and my body and myself. I would have died.
Fair enough.
So for me,
fair enough.
Let's come back here.
Brief. So
the question of churches, which is bringing me very, very uncomfortable nights. If we are not careful, this Africa, you see I'm like a giraffe. Is it called a giraffe?
Mm-hmm. Giraffe.
A giraffe.
Yes.
In Uganda we call it giraffe. Okay. Because we learned English. We are protected, not colonized like you people.
Yeah.
So we are protected. They found us already with our writings.
Okay.
So you people quoted the writings from the British. That's why you speak very good English. Now for us, we write very good English. And I am very sad that my country has been targeted, that degree, everything coming from body, coming from there. We come to that later. But look at this. This country, if you are not careful in Africa, we are turning Africa into American evangelism. And let's speak the truth. Most of these preachers are commercial. The church has become commercial. Tuambiane ukweli. People own petrol stations. Churches own television stations. Churches own radio. They are fighting. In my country, Uganda, the pastors are richer than anybody. You see? But the type of religion, that's why I've stuck, and I've told you several times, there is only one church in the world that I will go. The one that does not have guitar.
Okay.
If there is a guitar playing, I listen from outside. Then I say, All Saints Church. It's Anglican. I'm an Anglican. I have been a deputy warden for St. Mary's Church in Surrey for 32 years. I touch the money that people collect. I carry it up to the provost and up to the bishop every Sunday. That's the only church I go to. These churches that have become like a dancing nightclubs where you have people dancing. Not even in a good manner, in a good way. I think if you are not careful, the churches here could ruin our morality. The morality here is gone. The religious fabric is not there. Look at the pastor with yellow. Now, if people with blue were inside the church, those wearing the blue like yours, which is Raila's color.
Not really.
No, blue is Raila's color.
Would
they come in the church or not?
That's a good question.
So,
and Zach,
these are some of the things that I'm having a problem with. The younger generation that we are growing.
Yeah.
And Zach and I were talking about something as I finished about integrity. You can read the Constitution of Republic of Kenya from first page to the last page. But there are two words I want to leave you with. Personal integrity.
Hold it right there, Zach.
If you don't have them...
let's allow Zach come in also on the very same question. I mean, integrity in, out. We keep talking about integrity. we understand the contribution of the church, you know, and generally religion when it comes to the question of politics. And we have seen them being called upon at moments when states are almost failing. What does this speak about us politically? And I mean, just like President Uhuru Kenyatta has the right as a Kenyan to go out there and endorse, you know, a certain presidential candidate, a certain candidate for a specific seat, is the church capability or a space as open?
This morning, is it 20th of June?
Yes.
I would look straight into the TV and ask Brother William Ruto to denounce the screening of his image inside the church.
Okay.
I would ask him or his contemporary, whoever is watching TV 47, I would want to urge with the deepest emotion possible to tell them to go and tell President aspirant or candidate William Ruto to go and ask his name and his image to be expunged from screens inside a sanctuary, if it is one. If it is a sanctuary, it should be removed. If it is a cinema, it should be splashed, because it is a high blasphemy to see what we saw yesterday. In Colombia, one of the most historically relevant men was called Pablo Escobar. Pablo Escobar was the greatest narcotic leader this world will ever know. He was exporting cocaine in Hawaii, in Florida, and in the entire States. And one day, because his money was so much, they actually say today, farmers in Colombia can literally exhume money because he was hiding money under the soil. One day it got to a point where the Catholic Church stood up and said, we are now appealing to Colombians, people, to stop the madness. And what was the madness? Pablo Escobar was so popular, he would give every family literally $10,000 for upkeep. He would build churches solo, and he would give cars to the poor families. So what they did, you know the image of Jesus Christ, the one we grew up knowing. Of course, he's an Italian nigger acting, but the image we knew knowing of Jesus Christ, they replaced it in the Holy Ring and put Pablo Escobar. All the homes of the poor in the streets of Cali and Bologna, what is the capital of Colombia, Masanga? I think Bogota.
Yes.
All those cities.
The Bogota.
You could find images of Christ with the head removed and that of Escobar put.
Yeah.
Because they literally worshipped that man. And he said he would vie for president. But then he was gunned down and killed in good time before his threat could come true. So what I saw yesterday in that church in, is it in Githurai or somewhere in the streets of...
yes, Jesus.
in Roysambu.
Yeah.
That we could see a screen that every time screens the scripture, screens the hymn, and screen everything that is right. When we saw the image of one of the presidential candidates there, by the way, even if it was Raila, it would be wrong. Even if it would be the president who is sitting now, President Kenyatta.
And he's done that before, I mean, just endorsed them.
Yeah, but he never did. What happened yesterday?
Not to that level, yes.
President Kenyatta has been there and knelt before that man. William Ruto has been there and knelt before him, and they were prayed, which is a good procedure where churches pray for leaders. But casting the image of the presidential candidate in the screen inside the church, what does that tell our followers? It tells them that this thing is done. Let me finish by saying this, Linda, and I will say this without the fear of contradiction or favor, even fear, that the making of dangerous sects have all the signs of indoctrinating the masses and making them realize that there is no God except the man telling them so. That if you can say, the Spirit told you to wear yellow today, it's hypocrisy, because yellow is already a color being used by some candidate. Okay. If he said blue, by the way, I want to be very objective here. Even if he had said that the Spirit inspired me to wear blue today, it would be nonsensical. And the target of his people cannot question. Unlike you, by the way, you are not welcome to his church for having brought this topic.
Sadly.
And I am not welcome in his church for having, with Masanga, discussed this issue openly. And now we are telling our people, God has given us 2 faculties as I finish. 2 faculties that we must make use of before we die. The first faculty is the faculty of the mind, where we must reason.
Yeah.
We must use logic. The other faculty is a faculty of the soul, where we must show love. We must exercise love to the mankind. And that is what Jesus Christ insisted more. Socrates and Plato, as he has mentioned here, are for reason. Let us reason. If somebody come to you today and tell you that God has told me to tell you, please tell them that you also can hear what the Lord wants to tell you. And God has no franchise in the world. That he can only use some shops. Or that he can only use some people to talk to you.
Yeah.
God can talk to you if he wants to. And I'm not here to speak about God. But it is important that as we go to politics, our people should not be hoodwinked on the choices they must make using religion.
Well put. And gentlemen, allow us to take a short breather on that very note. We come and decipher some more on what is expected. 49 days to the general election. The campaigns are on. The conversations of politics are on. And so questions continue to linger as to how well set we are as a people to make sure that we face this election, make sure that we also maintain a peaceful coexistence thereafter. So we take that short breather, come back with that.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
How well do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga,
and music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. The next set of millionaires are farmers, as we know agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate the market and overcome the challenges.
Hapa, the reason why nilieka goose na si ducks. Goose, they are very easy to maintain.
A lot of farmers keep on calling, inquiring whether you're supposed to raise some seeds in the nursery or you're supposed to do them directly in the field.
The greenhouse helps us control the temperature because the temperature needs to be between 28 to 32 degrees.
Walk this journey with us every Sunday at 6:30 p.m. It's no secret, construction stories.
Mheshimiwa Zack Kinuthia, Member of Parliament, candidate of Kigumo constituency, is with us this morning. Dr. David Nyekorach Masanga, Chair Pan-African Forum, is as well with us this morning. And so, Dr. Masanga,
yes.
Here we are. We are closing on this subject of the church. You know, while we have those ones that, are probably not running this show well, there are others that have been genuine in terms of making sure that they enlighten the masses and their congregants on the importance of getting it right politically in the country, and as well overseeing and also, just playing as the moral cop in this particular case. As well, we keep asking ourselves, I mean, Christianity is not the only religion in the country. Why is it that we are so huge on these conversations of politics as compared to those ones that are Muslims and, these other religions that we have?
Because we have commercialized our religion. I was born in the 50s. I was baptized in the 50s. And I was confirmed in the 1960. When I was some good years, I could understand the Bible. About 6 years old. So you can guess when I was born. Because I don't fear telling people my age if you think I'm only 40s. So look, I was born, baptized, I stuck in the doctrine of Christianity. Sunday was the best day for us to go out, and you clean your clothes. By Saturday they are all ready. Mom and dad will not leave you behind. Today, the churches have become commercialized. The pastor himself is flying from one place to the other with a jet waiting. And they are telling you to contribute cash. This cash, some of the people don't have this money which you go to church and live there. So we must, it is not regulating the churches. They have the right to do what they want to do. But there are some places where people have gone beyond. And Zack forgot to say something. You can go to church and pray and pray and pray and pray, like Zakayo, the tax collector. The tax collector was told, go and, you want to enter the kingdom of God? Yes, go and return everything. He said, okay, sir, master, I've gone. He went, alilipalipa kidogo 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 anarudi. Jesus told him, my dear, you have not returned everything. And that's the type of people we have today. You call yourself a Christian. It's better for me who sticks to one religion, one place, All Saints Church, until Provost Wainaina also became political. I think it's from your place in Murang'a. He became political, wrote a very terrible letter. I wrote back. And I gave a copy to Sapiti. I said, you are spoiling our church. That church of All Saints used to be, there was a provost called Jenga. In Moi's time, it was our salvation. Sunday comes, we could all crowd there in 1985, before some of us left this country to go to other places. We used to crowd there because that provost Jenga used to preach, and you could feel God has just arrived. Being a refugee, you could go home, with the stomach full of the glory, and then God can appear. One person gives you 1 shilling to go and eat chips on Givenchy Gardens. Let's be honest. The churches of those days and the church of today, they are not the same. And these churches could actually divide this country. That's why I want that pastor to go and read Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1 to 3. The woes of an obstinate nation. I am not quoting like a Ruto who quotes wrong verses. Mine are straight.
Well, we'll confirm that.
Yes, confirm. You can confirm.
We will.
Isaiah chapter 30, verse 1 to 3. The woes of an obstinate state. Has Kenya become an obstinate state? Are we making so many sins? Are we correcting our children? Are we not going to be punished more? Are we fighting each other? Are we spreading violence, hatred? Look at what happens in Jacaranda. Whichever side you are, I'm not bothered.
And I mean, let's get to that conversation.
I've seen what violence is.
Yeah.
I've come from a background of violence. So I wouldn't like to support anybody, whether you are in Azimio, whether you are in UDA. If you are trying to do violence, let the police take you.
Okay.
Even if you are my friend, don't come near me. Because if you are violent, if you talk about, one of the reasons why I don't agree with Dr. Besigye is the mood of violence, of that, I want to go. You are, please, me, I did it. I know the disadvantages, I will never follow you.
And true to it, Zach, what happened, in Jacaranda grounds should be condemned. That one we do not dispute. And the necessary gentlemen or ladies that would have been involved in the same would definitely should be looked, at. And I mean, we have these conversations as to how best they can be summoned. But the response thereafter from these key leaders that are involved is what disturbs me and perhaps many other Kenyans. That Deputy President William Ruto says Mr. Kitendawili, the Lord of Violence, has done it again, hired innocent, desperate and jobless young people, victims of his sabotage of the Big Four jobs plan to shed innocent blood in the eternal quest for power. What a shame on Father's Day. Mr. Father of Violence, freedom is coming on the 9th. Mr. Kitendawili, on the other hand, I'm trying to get a hold of his tweet. Let's see whether we get the response of what the Right Honorable Raila Odinga had to say in regards to the same. He says, Mr. 6 months, for how long will you blame everyone for everything that befalls you? It is not okay to be rudderless, clueless, and planless. This country is slowly overcoming fraudsters and shortcuts that define your politics. Maliza uende. Zach.
Let me say that as I delve into that matter, straight from morning coffee, if we carry anything to guide us through this Monday and the coming week, this would be for us, as we sit here with my good friend Daktari Masanga, that the churches were adversely mentioned in the Waki report of 2007, 2008, and damning reports were published to the effect that there were churches where ODM and PNU would sit on different tables. That from where the pastor is sitting, he would sanction the PNU row and he or she would sanction the ODM row. And that was in Nairobi and in Kisumu and in Mombasa, in Nakuru and in major towns. And that thing went all the way down to rural places like where I am born and bred, where people would say, if you are a Kikuyu, now that one dropped into like places like Thika. Yep. If you are a Kikuyu, you must stay on the right or at home. Yeah. If you are not a Kikuyu, stay home. If you may not necessarily come to church. Yeah. So churches were also used sufficiently by the proprietors, I would call them so unashamedly, to spread violence and to light the fire of hatred. So from morning coffee, Linda, and to which you are the coordinator and the facilitator, we are asking the churches in this election 15 years later to stand not away from politics, but to stand above politics. Okay. To stand above politics. That Azimio and Kenya Kwanza are just vehicles that are transporting people into the future. Whichever bus one has boarded, we must know that we are alighting these buses on 9th of August. Yeah. Then from there we will build a new nation. Churches and preachers should stand above politics. And we must borrow a leaf from Islamic faith. Yeah. Islamic faith today, from wherever they practice the religion, they stand above politics. And how do they stand above politics? Such nonsensical shame, like casting the images of deputy president as a presidential candidate, cannot be done in a Muslim faith center. Cannot be done in a mosque. It's called a mosque. Yes. Cannot be done in a mosque. By the way, even politicians like Zach Kinuthia seeking to be MP or seeking to be governor or seeking to be president cannot speak inside a mosque. So my dear churches, let us stand above politics. Let us stand, when President Kenyatta visited the church, accept him as your president. When Raila Odinga comes to your church and he's running with, accept him as a candidate. When William Ruto and Rigathi Gachagua comes to your churches, accept them. But do not play the judge.
Yeah.
As a church, the pastor has the right to support William Ruto and Raila Odinga. They have the right. But they do not have the right to decide for the members. That one we must agree.
Right.
And they have no right to present the candidates a platform where they are going to say this is what to do. And this is why we must be bold and shameless.
Right.
We must be bold and shameless in casting all the preacher men who are using the church as an enterprise to hoodwink people, including what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
It is a shame. Finally, if you're going to church, if you are going to any church, please don't leave your brain at home.
Okay.
It is important. Don't leave your brain at home, that you surrender the power to think, the power to critique, the power to reason, and the power to speak what is wrong and right, and surrender it to your pastor. Yesterday, we were inaugurating my church at home as a cathedral. It got the status of a cathedral. My church that has brought me up, led by Bishop Joel Njoroge, or Babasara as he's known in the village, we were inaugurating our church as a cathedral, the first in the region, a status that is given to the highest form of autonomy to any church that is establishing. That is a church where the bishop has taught me also to carry my brain when I'm going to church, because he is a man of God guiding us through the religious faith, but not interfering us with what we are living in. That is said and done. Dusted. Now,
we might need to read this as you come to that.
Yes.
This is from Honorable Carlos Maina and Jerry, who seeks to get the mandate of the people of Hospital Ward MCA, that should be in Thika, to lead them. He says, good morning, Linda. It's hard to separate the two, church and politics, rather political leadership. Both have the people's interest. Both are featured in the Quran and the Bible. I believe the political leaders should be recognized and appreciated in church, like in the mosque, other than being ignored and denied recognition, especially in this campaign period.
Yeah, but the man is speaking nonsense.
Because in the mosque,
he has not understood us. I think it's just pleasing himself. What we are saying, and you see people do many things to please themselves, including inducing cocaine.
Okay.
Yeah, for him, he is quoting us out of context. With the Daktari here, good Daktari. We are intellectuals here.
We have not refused.
What we are saying is, if Ruto comes to your church, it would be cardinal mistake for the pastor to deny him a chance. If Raila comes to your church, it would be cardinal sin to deny him a chance. If an MCA like him comes to the church, he should be recognized. But that's not what we are saying. We are saying, in a screen where only spiritual matters are cast to help the people, it is wrong to flash images of people. And this is, I mean, even flashing an image of a flag is wrong. Because the church is not a state. While they cannot be separated, we must stand clear, not to use the platform to hoodwink the people. That's what I'm saying. I think the guy did not get us. And that's why we are saying degrees are important. Now, what I was saying...
all right, yes, let's proceed. What you were saying?
Before Zach...
It is not going to take that direction for sure.
Before Zach takes...
Let's allow him to laugh a bit, yes.
Before Zach takes...
takes on the question of intolerance.
Let me tell that person from Thika.
Yes.
We are not saying people should not go to church. But the person handling the church should not wear yellow and or blue of Raila Odinga with his image and preach to us. Because people go to that church. Some of them are Raila Odingas, some of them are Rutos. We are not disagreeing with everybody going to church. I have no problem. But the church, because the pastor wants to impress the candidate, he wears yellow. In fact, the pastor of yesterday almost painted his face yellow. So what is it that you are teaching the people, who, some of them who have not come, who have just come for God's word? They want to listen to what God
for refreshment
and go home and see whether a miracle would come. It would be very wrong for the man on that podium, pulpit, telling, I am now with you. What does that bring us to?
All right.
Because we came with money, we took money to the churches, we started 4 years ago. Deputy President Ruto started going to those churches. You know? And he has said it himself. He planted the seed, poison.
How is that poison? Anyway, sorry for another day. We shelve that one.
If you mix the money that you have actually taken from the masses, that's why Jesus said, give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and to mine what is mine. But here in Kenya, we have mixed even that of Caesar. We have stolen from the masses.
Have we? He's working scot-free, Dr. Masanga, so that would be...
Excuse me, so many people have stolen.
Yeah.
If God came down here now, Africa, we are done. There is no need of going to hell. The hell is here.
Already?
Yeah, the hell is here. In fact, most countries in Africa are in hell already. You tell me Somalia is not in hell? You tell me DRC Congo is not in hell?
It is bad.
We are in hell already.
Yeah,
you tell me
the situation is bad.
You tell me now that pastor, have I quoted a wrong verse? Isaiah chapter 30, obstinate state. You are doing so many sins. You are even telling people lies.
Let's shelve that one, Dr. Masanga.
You go to Pharaoh tonight and pick money and come back and say, hi, you want this. Me, if I'm going to church, I don't go and buy a new suit to go to church.
And you know, true to it, Zach, DRC is in a bad state.
Yes.
And so are many other African countries. And therefore, when we look at these small tenets of, intolerance creeping in, does it not send jitters? Does it not, get us to shivers?
And don't forget, Linda, don't forget that in Rwanda, the people who were hacked, the extremists followed them in the church.
Yes.
And the extremists came and hacked even this yellow type of pastor. They hacked them.
That's the most unfortunate thing.
So
while it's not what we wish for.
We have mixed. We are mixing a lot of.
And that's what I'm saying. I support Daktari. I support Daktari. Why I am saying the church must stand above politics to become our refuge. Politics by its nature divides. People should not do that. Politics don't divide. Politics divide. That's why we are casting votes.
Yeah.
We will vote for the president who will win by majority votes. But remember, the one who will be number 2 will still have his substantial vote. So the nation will be divided along the 2 candidates.
Yeah.
But it is places like sanctuaries that should bring us back.
Together.
It is places like churches that should bring us back. History should not be forgotten that in Uganda, a country of origin of my colleague here, has witnessed one of the worst tragedies in the history of mankind, where a preacher man closed the church and 90, were they 90?
Yes, over
100 members of that church,
Kanungu,
including the preacher man, set themselves ablaze for the Lord. It was here in Kenya, in the eve of the millennium, where a pastor in Nyandarua asked his followers to carry a food worth 100 days. Wakaenda kwa mashimo. Because the world would come to an end. And this fellow does not understand that even underground is a world, isn't it? Even underground is a world. So if the world was coming to an end,
including
even the underground would come to an end.
Down, yeah.
But he took miserable souls under the soil and buried themselves there. We have seen all drama. We have seen everything happening in churches. And that's why I'm asking people. Please, people, I am a church member. I am a Christian. And I go to a church called PEFA, All Nations PEFA Church. He is a Christian who goes to a church. We are not here to condemn the religion. And we are not here to say church is bad. But we are saying God has given us another faculty in the mind, which we are also asking you to carry.
Right.
Most of the miserable people today
the ones who
are people who have been asked by their faith not to rise above that misery. Because they are comfortable. They are made comfortable in misery. Let me ask you, what is witchcraft? Isn't it religion? Yeah.
In its own form,
It's a form of religion where People who administer witchcraft on you assume they have power over you that you cannot possess. And then they keep telling you, your problem, Linda, is Zach. The way he looks at you every morning in cafe, he's your problem. Yeah, that's why you cannot perhaps get what you are looking for. Your problem, Masanga, is Linda. The way that beautiful lady look at you, you are finished. Every morning, the way these witchcraft people are the same as religious platform using that chance to hoodwink the people. And all that said and done, I will not speak about that topic again.
Right.
Let me come to what we are talking about. When we see these things in DLC, when we reminisce issues like Rwanda, I am confidently saying, you know, I was formerly in government.
Yeah.
I am confidently telling Kenyans here that there shall be nothing like what we witnessed 15 years ago in this country. And we are asking people here who are voting for Masanga and Zach. I know Masanga is not vying, but for the sake of him, let me use him because we are here. Those people who are vying, we are asking them to continue committing to peace process. Yes. I am doing it in my constituency. Yesterday, while addressing a crowd of 1,000 plus, I was asking them, can we take an oath of peace? And how do you take an oath of peace? Let your hands come together. Lift them up, and 3 times in unison, let us declare peace. That even if I lose, of course I have already won, I'm waiting for God's confirmation. And this is the real God now. The one being quoted here in the real religious books. When candidates are going to lose, they should not think the world has come to an end. People should not make others fight. And this is good for presidential candidates for Kenya Kwanza and for Azimio la Umoja. The kind of engagements you have read for me there are the kiberiti matchstick. Yes. Some of those things are the matchsticks that can easily get into an inflammable liquid and bring our country to a collapse. So I am also asking, everybody knows that I support Raila Odinga. Yeah. You know, and Masanga and I disagree with Kenya Kwanza presidential candidate for reasons that have personal integrity to do with. It's not him as a person. So we are asking, from our end, we are also asking for caution. From our camp, I am asking for caution. And because this thing, from all signs, Raila may become president, is headed to it, I would just pray that he should not be provoked. Okay. And I'm asking him as my presidential candidate, he should not be provoked by cheche, as you call them, by sparks coming from the other corner. He should not react like he reacted yesterday. And because he's my man, and we are here fighting for him, it should not happen. He should not stoop low. Obama's wife said, when they go low, we go high. And this is what I'm asking our camp. If they are going low, Masanga, let us go high. Let us not incite Kenyans.
I hope they would. I really hope they would. And that's...
Zach, you are 100% correct. But I want to place this burden to communication teams.
Yes.
Please, communication teams on both sides. Communication team of the deputy president and the communication team of Azimio. Stop writing these statements. Please. Please. Some of the English is very horrible. That you don't expect a PhD holder like Dr. William Ruto writing such English. And on the side of Raila Amolo Odinga, we are now saving a nation here. We are not going to be biased. Communication team, whoever is writing any communication from on the side of His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, stop it. Those words, it was not worth replying that way. Let politicians do it in their own format, but not coming from the Facebook of His Excellency, the Right Honorable Prime Minister, answering back. These things you are writing are being documented. Don't forget, we went through this in 2007, 2008. I came back and I found all these things documented in the first ICC case. Don't write these things. Your Excellency, Deputy President Ruto, today, I'm speaking as an elder. My age tells you to tell you something. Avoid this. And the elder on this other side of Azimio also avoid this hitting back. You are now inflaming the supporters on Facebook. who are going to come and say, you see, Baba answered him. And then this side, he said, kitendawili. What is this word, kitendawili? Kiswahili went away from me. It is being used. Then this man said, 6 months man. Like a Makonde who has just grown. You know,
in 1 week.
Yeah, one week Makonde grew up.
Simon.
You know,
Simon Makonde.
Simon Makonde. Now, these are hit.
Was he a Zimbabwean?
No, he's a Kenyan.
Did you read Simon Makonde as well?
Makonde.
No, it's an African mythological story.
Yes.
Which original tribes. By the way, he was a Zimbabwean. There's a story.
Was he?
Yeah, he was a Zimbabwean.
I did not do those type of books like Ogundipe.
I did.
Me, I did J.A. Bright. My books were J.A.
But somehow you read.
You are indoctrinated by the white man.
Yes, even
we read the black man.
J.A. Bright, and even my certificate does not read Uganda Certificate of Education.
You read
my
East Africa.
Is East African Certificate
yeah.
of Education. The one that I have, which I have, the one subject I failed was mathematics with a 9. I got 0 in mathematics, so don't bring it near me. The other subjects I passed very well. So look, with this type of exchanges of bad words, hatred, which is causing now the supporters this morning, I have avoided that route. I can't accept it. These communication directors, Makao Mutua from Azimio, check this language. And Hussein
Mohammed. Yes, Mohammed.
You are a civilized person. We were with you in ICC. You saw what was taking place. You interviewed me and I was fighting for these people. Now you are allowing communication coming out of your Twitter handles. The English written there is not the English of the deputy president. He speaks very good English. But some of the English there is English of somebody who must have gone through the river and came back. You know, something like that.
Swam his way.
The Bonoko. You call it Bonoko English.
Call it Bonoko. Well, I'm glad that you...
Bonoko English on the Twitter hand of the DP should stop.
I think right there. Dr. Masaga.
Raila also should stop.
Well, how about we speak about this some more after a short break?
Yes, we better, because we are not here to please people now.
Despite being visually impaired, he is a jack of all trades. It is our quest to find answers on how to take care of children with special needs and those with disability. You do not need to see musical notes to understand music, but rather to have your soul feel the vibe.
Actually, for us to make a wheelchair, we have to take measurements of the user.
After doing my assessment, I get to know the parent, I get to know the heaviness she's carrying.
Disability comes at different stages of life.
Well, do you know what's happening around you? Morning Cafe with heated political debates. Baraza la Siasa.
Hiyo kitu azungumzie, angalie hali ya maisha ya watu.
Informative health discussions. Business, farming. Tasty Wednesday, Fitness Thursday, and Feel Good Friday with amazing DJs, celebs,
waimbaji, kuna comedians, alafu kuna wajinga.
And music bands every Monday to Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
The next set of millionaires are farmers. As we know, agriculture has been and still is the backbone of our economy. As we traverse the different counties to meet different farmers, we ensure to get the story of how they started farming and even how they continue to penetrate.
the common mwananchi. Why would it go to levels where we say that some people have been given few amounts of money to go and instigate intolerance, to go and trigger this, to go and spark this animosity, like what was witnessed yesterday? And for the longest of time, I think, let's give credit to us. We have not witnessed this in this campaigning season as such, apart from those moments of Kabati in Muranga and all that. And we all thought that it's going to end well, Zach.
This campaign, this general election, is somehow moderate. It's except for diatribe, it is somehow a measured form of campaign, speaking from a historical standpoint, looking at where we are coming from 92, 97, the madness of 92, 97, 2002, 7, 12, 17. This one, somehow, 50 days to election, somehow it looks like there was some civility. Then, once, suddenly, on a Sunday of 19th, some devils escaped from hell and staged a camp in Jacaranda. Yesterday. So I wanted to, as Zach Kinuthia, I wanted to categorically and on record on national TV to condemn the acts that were orchestrated yesterday in the Jacaranda grounds. This is the same ground, if I'm not wrong, where the same candidate who instigated, was vying. I think it's the same where the candidate then, who was vying for governor, transported lorries of shit and threw them there. I think it's the same ground. Yes. So this ground seemed to be having some bad omen. And another candidate, the same candidate has been featured. I do not want to mention names because he's a candidate for some position. He's the same who also orchestrated. It is wrong. Zach Kinuthia and his entire machinery of thinking condemns this unreservedly. It is wrong. This is not a capital city. Where do you see that in Paris? Where do you see that in London? Where do you see that in Geneva? Does it even happen in Brazzaville, Congo? These things are not even in Mogadishu. Where in a capital city do you stage such a form of cruel violence because you do not want some form of candidate also to address the people? Where does it happen? Do you know it takes two to tango? Yeah. If you do not want me to address you here, I'll not allow you to address me there where I have control. And it will get worse. Animosity will start rising. We have seen these things. The people who are still operating in medieval thinking, that Masanga cannot use ground X or Zach cannot use ground X, these people are supposed to be out of politics. By the way, politics is a serious business. It is a national interest business. Serious. Politics is not for jokers. I think it's important we say politics is not the dump site for people who can do nothing else. Right. And we must rise above the thinking that politics is for only people who can do. For serious people like him who have gone to school, who have acquired degrees to the extent of 3. This is people who should be playing this business of guiding, not hooligans and Neanderthal characters who have failed in virtually everything, including family management, to come here in politics. I think we should deny and denounce any person vying in this election as a candidate for MCA all the way to the president who think that violence is a tool. Yeah. We must tell them here that violence is not a tool. And if you think violence is a tool, we are asking the state, who is the sole monopoly of it, violence, to unleash it to such people. We will support the state when it will unleash violence to the violent. Right. Because we cannot allow. Linda, I am in politics today. And if somebody threatens my campaign, if somebody stops my trail, if somebody interrupts interrupts my rally, you know what I'll do? I may pretend to become. But the people who are behind me will not become. Zach as a leader can become. I have been calm. Standing there aloof saying, oh my God, so what is this? I can't believe it is happening during the Jedi. But my people will be agitated. And you know, the people who are behind me are not of the same personality. Others are violent people who want some form of venting. If they see their leader being threatened, they will do it. So you saw what was happening yesterday with William Ruto as he was going to Jacaranda. His supporters, somehow, and you take this to the bank, somehow this week or next week, will try to show their agitation against whom they think was the cause.
Which
they will try to embarrass.
But
yeah,
this is the
God
reality.
forbid, yes.
How do they rise above this form of agitation?
Jack, I agree with you. And this time, let's join hands to condemn and call upon IEBC
to sanction.
Please, Wafula Chebukati, disqualify some of these candidates.
Yeah.
If there is a sufficient evidence, you know, the nation now is in the hands of IEBC.
Yes, yes.
And if IEBC finds out that Murithi, is it Murithi?
Murithi, yes, yes.
Murithi or Babu Owino, because this constituency has been a hotbed. Yes, let's talk the truth. If they find, IEBC finds that both of them went and paid money or instigated violence, IEBC act, just no judge will be sympathetic with that. Disqualify them. Let the constituency remain vacant. And later on, you
will do a by-election.
Right. That IEBC is not, you see, Chebukati has the powers to disqualify you. And they say, I'm sorry, you are not going to be on the ballot.
On this strength.
On this, that. Both of them have been a very big menace to, even when you were in Jubilee Party and ODM, you remember?
Yeah,
last year, the same two guys, those two younger men, Babu Owino and Murithi. We are not here to be caught sugarcoating and the violence comes to kill people here again. No. Our kama wako na shida, let them be summoned, sit down in a room and be told, this is the last chance we are going to have you, any of you, calling your supporters at night, that when Ruto arrives here, beat him. When Raila arrives here, beat him. If we do that, if IEBC does that, for once, it will gain credibility.
Yes.
I don't know how much of a capability.
Some of us will be very happy because me, as you see me, have you looked at me? Look at me. I am not completely happy with Mr. Chebukati and his team. Unless he does a miracle to convince me, because I have seen hiccups. I have observed the elections in 52 countries since I was born, including East Timor. If you give me a paper, I'll write you 300 pages of why this election should not take place.
Well,
here in Kenya,
we all hope that it will take place. I mean, based on the discrepancies.
I am a candidate, Masanga. Masanga, I am a candidate.
You cannot lock Zach out. Yeah. I will be jobless.
You are literally destroying me now.
I don't care.
You don't care destroying me, Masanga?
To save a nation. if there was a way, let me be frank. How do you disqualify one person and say you have no powers to verify whether this was a degree or not a degree? But then again, in the same constitution, you have asked that before I qualify you, you must have a degree. So how did you know that this other one was a degree and this one was not a degree?
Not. And that's the biggest question.
That is lacuna number one. And when it comes to my son there, I will not speak. I want to tell the whole nation of Kenya.
A general perspective, yes.
No.
You're a person of interest.
I am a person of
interested party.
No, I'm a person. Well, you call me person of interest on Sakaja, and I want to tell the whole world here, Kenya, I will not make a comment like Atwoli. We are elders of Luya clan, and we have decided not to make a comment. And Matanga, I don't want to make a comment about Sakaja. Because my comment could be an earthquake. My comment could be a thunderstorm. My comment could make friends not become friends. Let me leave it to you Kenyans to sort it out. But the only thing that I want to protect is my country. My country, Uganda, seems to be a source of difficulties of these fake degrees. We have some of us have picked phones and have spoken to the highest authority. You know, some people think I don't speak to Museveni. No, I tell him. I have 8 numbers of him, his numbers. He gave them to me. From 2008, I have them. At least 3 work. Say, Mr. President, you are now fixing Besigye for what? Give him bail. He was given bail. Then he went back again. You are doing this. This degree thing has taken a new twist in our country. And I think by the end of this week, that university might be padlocks put on. Yes.
Maybe wound up.
Yeah, the president has ordered a full, and the minister of education, Madam Janet. Some people are linking her to. No, she's a Christian down to earth. There are things I disagree with Museveni. But on this one, the lady who is the Minister of Education has taken a stance to find out if this thing was not proper. You are going to see the results. Now that the police and the Interpol are involved. The Uganda police is seriously on it. If this degree was done somewhere, why should our country with Makerere University, the best university on planet
Africa.
One of the best
on Africa. Why should we have a bad name that everybody from Kenya is buying a degree from there? Kwa nini? Now
it's not the first case, Zach. Yes,
I'm beginning to have a problem. That Kenyan University, Nairobi was recognized. Makerere was recognized. You go to Britain, and Zaka was a minister of education. In Britain, if you don't have O levels, they tell you to go and do what they call a foundation course, equivalent to A levels. You do it for 2 years, then you proceed and get your diploma. From a diploma, which they teach Shakespeare, they teach everything that you missed, you proceed to the university. Finish another year, if depending on your course, if it's a Bachelor of Arts, Political Science, if it is law, it is 4 years, if it is medicine, it's 5 years, like that. Depending if it is engineering, is even worse, 7 years.
6 to 7.
Now, to save all this degree problem, and let me tell, at times let's help Kenyatta, President Kenyatta and the government, get what we call student number. Zach, you are in the Ministry of Education. Why didn't you ask us? We could have given you free advice. Student number, one in the whole UK. Britain has about 100 million people.
That is what we seek to adapt with NIMS.
Yes, but
was it NIMS?
If you want to check Wachikoya or Matanga, I give you my student number. It will tell you, I was not here, I was not there, I was not there. They don't need your CV. Unaandika makaratasi, unasukuma CV. No. Student number. Every university, that's why Wavinya has a student number. And you cannot have it without you having taken student loan. It's linked to your help. You call it help here. You link it. Let Professor George Magoha, before you leave in these 2 months, bring that student number to remove this degree problem, because now Chemkat cannot verify them. The law might not verify them. Matiang'i said 40% wash. So we are wash towards a wash style. And so for me, I would not speak on Sakaja. Yes. He's my son and a son. That is all I can say.
That's submission good enough. Yes.
Let Zaka speak on Sakaja. But
and I mean, we're not going to delve much on Sakaja because, I mean, the submission that has been presented by Daktari here is pretty much in order. And especially when we come to the question of degrees and all that. And it's not about Sakaja. We have seen very many faces that are on this list. And, Avinya as well was cleared. Sakaja is so excited to have been cleared. The IEBC lacks tools, they say, to investigate and to undertake inquiries into the validity and legitimacy of academic certificates. And so while Sakaja is celebrating, saying that I am glad we have been vindicated, we stand qualified, we have the requisite qualifications to run for the office of Governor of Nairobi. Why then does the DCI come in?
You know,
want him to shed light on a degree said he possesses.
You know, on academic excellence, one should be like Caesar's wife. That should be beyond reproach.
Let me tell you something. There's someone who's watching and they say, let Zach mention the names of these ladies. Even Obama's wife is called Michelle Obama. Let's not focus on Caesar's wife, Michelle Obama. Can we have them?
You know, the ladies of our time.
Yes.
The problem with our time is that people, because of knowing them, may not appreciate them.
Oh, yeah.
They'll be appreciated by generations after us. That is why we are appreciating generations after Caesar.
Yeah.
Caesar's wife was divorced on a queer ground of suspicion that he had cheated on the senator, the Caesar, Julius Caesar. Academic excellence should not be doubted. The day it is doubted, it is not there. And it is, you are wounded. And if people go ahead to say, if you dare us, we know it, you will fall into shame.
It's trouble. You
should not claim what it is not. And I have been telling people, don't claim academic excellence that you possess not. Don't. What is it for? If you have no degree, accept it. Say that I'm working on it as he has put it. If you have no PhD, please don't go and parade yourself there. Somebody somewhere in this world knows that you are lying. Perhaps even your spouse. They know you are lying. And you are lying to the world. And the worst form of lying is the self-lying, that you are cheating to yourself. So let me put it this way on Sakaja. I don't know why he's celebrating. And I do not know why papers, papers are awash with the thinking that is being cleared. Okay. IBC said that it is not their mandate to investigate degrees. Whom are they responding to? To him. The mandate of investigating a degree is not ours. It lies with beyond us. Yeah. And who is it? Who is a legitimate custodian of legitimate degrees? It's called Commission for University of Education. Now, Commission for University of Education has asked the DCI to investigate how he acquired what they are doubting. Okay. Now, the other one, today, Linda, if I want to know whether you did your KCSE, who is the authority? It's not your school. Who is the authority? Kenya National Examination Council for Form 4 or O levels. If I want to know whether you have done your degree and whether it is legitimate, it is not the university per se that will supply me that information. If I'm a serious researcher, it is the CUE, is a custodian, is a port, national port that cooks the legitimate degrees. And many people who hold degrees in this country, master's degrees and PhDs, will not qualify CUE's threshold. So, IBC said they have no mandate. That means the degree that has been brought to them, for them they cannot authenticate whether it is legitimate. Who should? If Zach presents a degree on political science to IBC, IBC has no way of knowing. Whom are they going to ask? They are going to ask the university. Now, once they ask the university, if the university does not have those records, it will write to CUE. Yeah. Or if they doubt that you are claiming University of Nairobi gave you a degree, they will write to CUE. So what essentially these guys have done, and I think it will be clear today and tomorrow, is asking Sakaja to prove to the bodies that have the legitimate authority to prove to go and do it. And that is why your question is coming in. Wow. Okay? I have brought you the answer to the question you're asking me. Why DCI is asking him to go is because DCI has the power to investigate, and the mandate of investigation lies to them. Now, the other person who investigates is CUE. And CUE has said, by 10 a.m. Monday, which is today, supply us with the following details. 10.
Yeah, but
why can't he take the 10 details to CUE?
Straight as
I don't want to speak much on this.
In fact, we are shelving it.
CUE. Commission for University Education.
Some of the things there are also very dangerous. Some of us who went to university very long time ago. Yes. You still have your no.
You are what?
Jamani, no, to quite balanced. Your key to the list is very, that the data that you paid You went to university in 1985. Even, do you remember?
Some of this documentation you definitely not have. Yes, so unless the main ones.
Let's be, the professor there, the chairperson there is also acting funny. Because some of the documents, I like the route of CID, of DCI. That the DCI bring out facts. The Kampala DCI and the Kenyan DCI. Those ones will be okay.
The Kampala CID?
CID, yes. That it's also DCI, the Director of Criminal Investigation in Kampala. Madame Akero, she with Kinoti. Let them put their notes together. But these other...
Perhaps they have already put the notes.
Yes, these other CUE. Hi, the conditions...
No, they are manageable.
They are manageable.
Prof, yeah,
can you trace your...
PhD?
For you, no.
The payments and all.
Can you manage your pay slip?
The
receipt.
The receipt.
Yes, because we paid through the bank.
Yeah,
but all you need to do...
For you have...
Is go to the bank for...
your reason.
No, I'm saying for those many years, it will not be possible.
But especially technology wasn't there.
Yeah, but the school bazaar, the university bazaar have receipts.
So to kill all this, that the CUE... with effect from next year, new government of Azimio, which I believe.
Oh, is it?
As is, yeah, because it is looking very obvious with Kuria saying he's on the way out.
And I mean, we need to talk about that briefly.
Kuria is about to go out and so many things. The vote here, I told you here, the vote in Mount Kenya here is if Ruto does not score 60%,
Even President Kenyatta.
And I'm glad that you bring us to Mount Kenya. Let's talk that briefly. We have about 5 minutes
is called Kalupina.
It's called Kalpina.
Yes.
Very good.
So we have Kalupina.
No, obviously you're my senior in academy. That is it. I accept.
So we have Kalupina and we have Michelle Obama. Please, let's give them the credit.
Beyond reproaches.
Yes. And Kalupina was bringing in the sense of integrity. Personal integrity.
Yeah.
Personal integrity is what is lacking. Look at you. Let me ask one question, Zach and Weave, and the viewers. You are an accountant in Airtel. You are supposed to collect the money for Airtel communication. You go, there is a job of accountant in Safaricom. You store money in Airtel, and your case is still in court in Kenya. But this job in Safaricom is the same job like the one of Airtel. And you go there and then you tell the managing director of Safaricom that, hello, Mzee, give me this job while I will sort out the Airtel one. That is in court, but give me this one. When you have really stolen money from, and the money is missing, forget about being called a thief, but allegedly, the money is missing and you are in charge. Now you want to get another job as an accountant in Safaricom. This is where we find our 241 people that the EACC, my brother Wabukala and my brother Twalib
Balak.
Yes, they did. Chebukat asked them to do a thorough check on these people. They got the list and sent it there. Chebukati then said, no, they can go. He chose some who can vie, some who cannot vie. Now, tell me, can Safaricom give you a job?
No.
On top of the theft you have conducted in Airtel.
They can't.
This is the scenario where our election is. Don't you see that, Linda? And
it's clear.
Viewers,
it's very clear.
Where some people have stolen. They have cases in court. Yes, we know proved guilty. But you are now asking for an MP job. A job which is again the same job where you were before you stole. Before you go for this one, you stole here. You say, don't worry. When I go to Parliament, I will finish that one, but give me this one.
It's absurd.
This is where we are. So you can blame everybody, but there's one thing you have to do.
Yeah.
Zach, if you go to Parliament, advocate for overhauling your constitution.
Yeah.
Well, we need to make adjustments on that. I will also, based on some bit of research that we're doing right here, agree to the fact that there's a Director of Criminal Investigations Office in Uganda. But from what I gather, it is Tom Magambo that heads this.
Yeah, Tom Magambo is for DPP, but Akero is for director of CID. Mrs. Akero from
CID Uganda. Here we are. AIP Grace Akulo.
Akulo.
Yeah.
Akero,
well, right. Well,
Akulo Akero.
Akelo, I agree.
know her.
I agree.
She was a younger girl.
I agree.
Working with us those days. Very young, very bright person.
I agree.
And they have gone full. Museveni has ordered a full throttle. I'm not the ambassador of Uganda in Kenya, but I'm defending my country.
Yeah.
It is being besmirched, prostituted. That's the word.
We have to close
on this degree thing. Yet there are people in Uganda, Makerere University, who have studied well-organized people. Surely we should not be prostituted that this is a country which sells degrees.
Hold it right there. Zach, you know, time has moved and I really wanted us to touch on this six-tier conversation, especially at the level of the mountain where we're having leaders going on ground and especially with the troubles that bedevil Kenya Kwanza. They say, let's do the six-tier. Let's have UDA from the presidency all the way down, which is not sitting well with other parties that are in Kenya Kwanza. President Macron of France risks losing, you know, a majority representation, and therefore you understand the dangers that come along with that in terms of even him seeing some of these reforms. Major
it was a
reforms
mistake. He won anyway.
Was it?
Yes, he should have lost and gone to jail.
Okay, well, is it not hypocritical for the likes of Moses Kuria to cry foul when, say, Rigathi Gachagua or Deputy President William Ruto would go on ground and say, give us a six-tier?
It is hypocritical. I think that's the answer, and simple. I will not even discuss it.
And I'm glad you put it that way because we have to close. Yeah. Okay, 40 seconds. Speak to your people.
It's a hypocritical, and let me put it this way.
Yeah.
The only place where there will be form of acceptance to a suit, six-piece tie voting would be where President candidate Ruto comes from and President candidate Raila are coming from.
Yeah.
That is in Luo Nyanza and in Central Rift, where Ruto comes from. Otherwise, expecting Ukambani to vote for six-piece, expecting Mount Kenya to vote for six-piece, Coast, Northeastern, and other places outside these two gentlemen is a far-fetched dream. And any presidential candidate who commit to forceful suit mentality nonsense, these people are going to lose terribly. Because you see, like now in Ukambani, people are making noise that Kalonzo is asking for suit in Wiper. Yet he's not a presidential candidate. What is going to happen? People may vote and deny him votes and the people he's supporting. So I am asking them, and Azimio is well advised not to push for this outside their base.
Okay.
It is important that because they want votes. Both want to be, and I speak for the one I am supporting. Raila want to vote for Mount Kenya. He knows that Azimio is a party for him only. Only him is vying under Azimio party. Okay? Others are vying under the parties under Azimio. So, only him will vie on that party.
Right.
No, and Mother Karua. Only two people are vying on Azimio. The rest are vying on ODM, PNU, Jubilee, DAPK, and all other parties affiliated to it. And they should allow the house to be big.
Yeah.
Let the people vote as many people as well. I'm looking forward, as I finish, to a rainbow parliament.
Wow.
And Senate, before I finish
rainbow parliament and Senate.
Yeah, a rainbow parliament and Senate where ideas will be brought on a national pot without fear or without intimidation by the coalition where you belong. And this is why I'm asking people in my constituency in Kigumo to continue in this steadfast journey that we began together, which we are inching every single day, and to whom God we trust that once we take over the power of our constituency, we are going to right the wrongs and we are going to propagate the right. It is important to put it that way, that the right that has been done over the successive 9 regime, I will propagate it. But the wrongs that have been committed, I am going to correct. Supply you with the leadership that is pro-people, give you the representation that is right for you in parliament, and support education for your children, support health for our old, support social welfare for the old above 65 years, and also stand with the young people as we create jobs and dignity for them. And lastly, put it this way, I'm going today to be spending in Aberdare Forest, where I'll be campaigning in Makomboki area, campaigning in Gatiaine, near Njiri High School. At least people know Njiri High School. I'll be campaigning around the Njiri High School. So as I interact with my people, come and let us talk together. The Bible says, rightly, I will not go to where, but I'm sure that come ye, and let us reason together. And I'm
Fair
calling
enough.
them to come.
Fair enough. 30 seconds.
Mine is very simple. In life, Moses Kuria, Honorable Moses Kuria, in future, when you make a bed, leave space without thorns.
Okay. You might need to.
Yes. If you make a bed all the time, leave space without thorns.
If you make a thorny bed?
Yes. Because you could come back to lie on this place, there are thorns. So Moses Kuria at the moment and Kabogo are in that situation.
Okay.
That they made the bed, and this is exactly what I told Mzee Besi, my younger man Besige, that when you are making these laws in 1985 of detaining people without a trial, be careful. You could lie on them in the future. I am here to witness, and I'm saying the only way out for Moses Kuria and Kabogo, they are other friends with Tangula and Musalia Mudavadi. You might call them stupid, but they got their 30%.
Well,
what has Moses Kuria and Kabogo in the mountain? And my friend, all of them are my friends.
You have to close here.
No, they got something, rice and meat.
Yes, no, I think you can conclude that. So, make a bed where you can sleep. Okay. Because you might need to sleep on it.
Thank you.
And there will be thorns.
All right. Gentlemen, thank you so much. Dr. David Masanga, Chair of Pan African Forum Limited, last speaker, as well as